Thanks for staying with us. In about 6 days, Nima's people will be out to elect, that's Edo State, will be out to elect a new governor that will take over from the incumbent governor, Godwin Obaseki, whose 2 terms in office will come to close November 16th. Campaigns for the Edo governor seat have been intense by the candidates of 17 political parties ahead of the September 21st election. Looking at the choices so far is saying that it's a 3-horse race. And joining us right now in Abuja studios is the constitutional lawyer and Deputy Director Counsel, Mr. Andrew Emwanta. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good morning. Good
morning. There's a lot of excitement going on in Edo right now because, you know, 17 parties here, but many experts have said that this is really a 3-horse race because we have the APC, the PDP, and the LP. And there's so many factors that are being considered. I mean, we hear of the Godfather factor, we have the charisma, the articulation of some, not all, the history of some of these candidates. Let me start with your own perspective on the election in general. How do you see it? What do you think would come to play in electorates coming out to actually vote and participate?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think you are right if you say it's a 3-horse race. And the reason why most analysts have made that assertion is not far-fetched. Because we use the result of the last general election that took place in 2023 as a benchmark in asking ourselves that simple question: which are the 3 major political parties? And of course, it is the PDP, the Labour Party, and the APC. And you look at the results from last election, PDP went into that general election occupying 3 senatorial seats. They lost 2 to the APC in Edo North and Edo Central. And coincidentally, the occupant of the senatorial seats in Edo Central is the APC candidate, my candidate. Then in Edo South, PDP lost to the Labour Party. So if somebody is saying that it is a 3-horse race, the answer is right, because the National Assembly election, from the huge number of seats the PDP had, they were now left with just 1 seat in the House of Reps and the entire National Assembly. So going into this election, you find that there's a whole lot of tension, and it stems from statements like what the governor said during their grand finale rally, when he said this election is a do-or-die affair. And I think that's where I would disagree with Governor Obaseki. First, Edo people are peace-loving people. We have always maintained that stance since 1999. He's an outgoing governor, so I don't think it's a do-or-die election. So he should be very wary with the kind of statement he makes, because looking at the fact that they didn't sign the peace accord, that appears to be a mindless gambit. It's an indication that, just as the governor said, that it will be a do-or-die, that even people around him, he made that reference, that if these people do, we are going to die. People around Obaseki will not die. The election does not come as one of those battles or war where lives will be lost. No, it will be a peaceful election. It will be a process to choose Obaseki's successor. It is not the end of the world. His tenure has ended, so it should allow Edo people to make a free choice.
Let me get a few questions for you. Go ahead.
Because the mandate that will be given will come from Edo people and not from those in government.
All right, go ahead, Nima.
So the governor and the PDP have refused to sign this peace accord. This is because they have certain fears. Number one is that the governor says his communal police has been cancelled by the IGP for certain reasons. And because of that, he doesn't have trust for the federal in these elections. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, thank you. I don't think it is right for Obaseki to complain, because the police he operates as the Edo State Security Network, lately had become a nuisance. Remember some time ago when the candidate of the APC and the deputy governor came into Benin, because they didn't want them to exit the airport, there was a security presence of some of these vigilantes at the entrance. And guess what? They shot at the convoy of the APC candidate, and his police suddenly died. And the individuals behind it, some of them were wearing police uniform, they were armed, and subsequently, much as there were calls for the police to ban the security outfits, because under the watch of Obaseki, we've had a vigilante that operates even more than the police. They involve in arresting people, they involve in attacking opponents. During the last local government election Obaseki organized, it was with these security people that Obaseki rigged the election. So for us, it is a welcome call that was made, and the IG responded, because you cannot use persons who are not known to law under the Constitution. The only police force we have in Nigeria is the Nigerian police force. These people operate under the cover of Obaseki's protection, and they've committed all kinds of atrocities. Just recently, the chairman of a local government, the East and West local government chairman that has been remanded, went into a campaign venue of the APC, attacked people. Most of the people there were injured by members of these vigilantes Obaseki police. So the ban, Obaseki cannot cry more than, the bereaved. You have a lot of people who have been affected by this. So as governor, you should allow the Nigerian police to do their work.
Okay.
The commissioner of police before now was being controlled by the governor. But now that this present one is not ready to come under his control, he's crying blue murder. So I think the man should realize he's leaving government. The other time, these persons who were involved in that murder were to be arrested by the police. The governor threatens that if the police arrest them, Nigeria will burn. Remember that video went viral. Just last Saturday, as I earlier mentioned, the man said that, for this election, because they have banned his own police, that it is going to be a do or die election.
All right.
So the blood of an adult person is not what Obaseki is saying. Our election is not worth the blood of any Edo person.
Right.
So the governor should be called to order and must realize that Edo people must be allowed to vote this Saturday.
All right.
This is not a local government election, but it's an election that Nigerians are ready to participate in. Edo people are ready to participate in.
Let me get you a few more questions. Because of time, I want to get as many questions as possible. Go ahead, Ami.
Okay, sir. I've been looking at social media and reading different narratives on the incoming election of Edo State. And I've seen that a lot of Edo residents and indigenes have pointed accusing finger at Godwin Obaseki for not fulfilling a lot of promises he made to them in the 2 term that he stayed in office as the governor of Edo State. Now, this falls on his credibility to also say that I'm bringing somebody out who will be your governor. Looking at the person as even a sitting senator, do you think Godwin Obaseki has a chance to convince the Edo State people to come out and vote for his candidate of his party, looking at the fact that he has been accused numerous times of not even fulfilling his own campaign promises?
Ask an APC man that question. Okay, go ahead. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I will just identify 3 promises Obaseki made, which he didn't fulfill. First, he promised the people of Edo North that he will give them an airport. As we speak, nothing was done about that project. Second, he promised the people of Edo South 2 things, that he's going to give us an enterprise park, or what he called an industrial park. He invited the vice president. A whole lot of taxpayers' funds were made available to him to organize that event. They did groundbreaking. As we speak, there's nothing like an industrial park anywhere. He even said that the industrial park will be connected to a seaport called Gelegele. And it's very unfortunate that that Gelegele seaport was one of those conduit pipes. And who was part of this team? Alago Daro is his economic team, and the chairman of Alago Daro is Aswe Hudalo, the candidate of the PDP. So for us, this man has failed woefully. You talk of Edo Central, there's nothing to show for what the government has occupied that office in the past 7.5 years. You discover that Aswe Hudalo comes from that area. He was chairman of Alago Daro. Nothing, not even a single tree was planted by Aswe Hudalo. He wants to be governor without anything to show for his 7 years and how many months in Obaseki's government.
Okay.
Besides that, you find that there are 5 areas that has created serious cause for concern for Edo people. The first is insecurity. That's a big elephant in the room. A situation where the governor uses his police to oppress the people. A situation where kidnapping has become the order of the day in Edo Central. And I tell you that our candidate supported the security network of people of that senatorial district called Atalakpa, with over 10 vehicles with funds. What was the contribution of Aswe Hudalo? A paltry sum of 500,000 to those who came to visit him in Lagos. And that was what they used in transporting themselves back. So my candidate has a 5-point agenda. I'll just quickly run through those 5 points. First is the issue of security. We want to deal with the issue of security headlong. And also, Road development. Benin City, as we speak, has the best network of bad roads. Whenever it rains in Benin City, you need a flying boat to move around. The local government I come from, Ego, has very terrible roads. The only thing the governor has commissioned in the last 4 years in my local government are street lights. And it does that with so much fun and fanfare. Third is the issue of affordable health care. Remember, the only hospital that we have standing was one built by Adams Oshomole 8 years ago, the revamped Edo Specialist Hospital, close to Ring Road. Obaseki demolished the Central Hospital we have close to Ring Road and built a museum which he has abandoned because he thought he could get back those artifacts that were stolen from Benin. And Stella Obasanjo, he started innovating 4 years ago, is still an abandoned hospital. So we are going to take the issue of affordable and accessible and quality healthcare very seriously. Then the fourth is water and agriculture. The problem we have is that Obaseki, through his friends in Lagos, have captured communal lands in the name of commercial agriculture. But what my candidate is offering is food security. We must give the people back their lands. We must encourage them by giving them family inputs, by giving them soft loans, which Obaseki has failed to do, and even fertilizers they don't get. The last but not the least is the issue of value-driven education. Before now, Edo State was a tourism destination for education. Education tourism was one of those things that was at the heart. During the campaigns, we discovered that most of these schools that Oshomola built have been abandoned by Obaseki. You go to a secondary school in some of our rural communities, they have either 1 or 2 teachers. And even if you say they have 2 or 3 teachers, one of them is the headmaster. So Obaseki has refused to employ teachers, and our candidate has promised that he's going to fund education from the tertiary down to the primary level. Our state university, Obaseki ran that place without a government council for over 4 years. As we speak, we have lecturers there that have been owed salaries for over 20 or 20-something months. So most of what Obaseki said is done is on the social media.
Okay.
But when you come on ground, you find nothing. Yeah. So the 5-point agenda of the APC candidates will deal with this problem.
All right,
Our candidate was elected last year is because of his track record of performance.
Yeah.
He brought a new winning streak. PDP had occupied the senatorial seat since 1999 for 25 years. For the first time, he was the opposition candidate that could defeat the PDP candidate because he has a track record of performance. As a private individual, he brought development to the various communities of the senatorial district.
Thank you very much, sir. I know you've just told us about the 5-point agenda of your candidates, but many critics, let me throw you a bit of a curveball. Many critics have said that the 3 candidates, we have the LP, who is the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. He doesn't get any learned than that. And this is somebody who is bringing in new, fresh ideas, who is setting Edo, who plans to set Edo in a different trajectory. Now, we have Obaseki, who nominated Asu Egodalu. This is somebody who has been the chairman of Sterling Bank. This is somebody who has charisma, that has been able to articulate his values and economic plans for the state. Your candidate, on the other hand, many have said he's not articulate, he hasn't been able to express himself, he's probably just a core raw politician. And modern Edo citizens are saying, we want a new Edo with new citizens, new, very upwardly modern thinking. So how do you address those who are saying that they need a governor that has more charisma, who is able to put things in a more futuristic perspective for them, compared to a raw politician who obviously has been successful quite a bit in an APC working with Oshomole? Well, how do you address that?
First, you mentioned Oshomole's name, and I must quickly correct that impression people may have. I was one of those who campaigned for my candidates. Comrade Adams Oshomole as our leader, we have so much respect for him, but he had his own candidates. My candidate defeated Oshomole's candidate, and at the end we had a compromise. Unlike Obaseki, who brought Aswe from the blue and supported him, imposed him actually, and as we speak, they still have about 5 litigations in court. So as a matter of fact, my candidate is coming with a whole lot of experience, both from the private sector. He has 2 companies, Interweb, satellite company. They are into internet, and he also has Chapman computers. So for me, we have a candidate that Edo people have elected in the Central Senatorial District after the PDP had occupied that seat for over 25 years, and it was a trust his people from that Senatorial District has given to him. And as such, what we are bringing to the table is something new. His vision is a new Edo that is rising. Unlike the person you have in the PDP, he has been in government for the past 7 years, 7 years and some months running as chairman of Obaseki's economic team with little or nothing to show for it. My brother, Akpata, I'm a lawyer. He was our NBA president. Yes, we elected him as an NBA president, but you know, you cannot compare association politics with real partisan politics. You know, he's just cutting his teeth in partisan politics. And just like Aswe Budalo, you know, he will be featuring Edo politics for the very first time. Aswe's voters card was obtained just recently. At the time of the PDP primaries, he didn't have a voters card. This will be the very first election he's voting in. But this is a man that has been in government for 7 years. So these are, as my candidate said in his BBC interview, and just to correct that impression, he has been talking to the media. He did a 30-minute interview with BBC, and he spoke very eloquently. At the at the presidential grand finale of our rally, because the president was supposed to be there, but because he was in England, the vice president was there. That was a grand finale rally. He spoke so eloquently, you know, to the 5-point agenda. He spoke to his 5-point agenda, and that's the kind of person we want. He's not known as a talkative, and our mantra is less talk and more work.
Yes.
Obaseki came speaking grammar in 2016. He came speaking grammar in 2020. But today we have a good network of bad roads in Edo State. We have a governor that when federal government gives palliatives, he hides it to rebag, to shove to members of his political party, and in some cases they will now sell to private individuals. We want a government that will be accountable to Edo people. A government that will not use consultants, but will use Edo people to develop our states.
Let me get in the question. Go ahead, Mariam.
Okay, so mine is a little bit similar with the previous question, but a bit specific to the LP candidate. So we know that the obvious opponent for the APC is the PDP. But, you know, LP has come, especially your candidate, is coming on the back of the latest darling of politics, Mr. Peter Obi. And we hear that his last outing in Edo State, it was quite a, you know, a gathering. Are you not afraid, or what are your concerns that this may be, you know, like LP has already shown to be a party that will sneak up on you without you knowing? There's a lot of concentration on PDP, but what is your strategy with working LP, not just the candidate, but the party LP itself that seems to just drag a lot of young people and, you know, influence a lot of young people? How do you think this will play in Edo State?
Yeah, thank you. I think of the candidates, the real threats, I will be honest in saying this, we have is the Labour Party, and I'll tell you why. The PDP has 2 old people as their candidates. Aswa Wodalo is 66, his running mate is his age mate, just some months older than him. Edo people, we don't want all these people who, if they were civil servants, ought to have retired. We don't want anybody that Obaseki presents. Obaseki has 0 respect for our traditional institution. They came into Benin with the presidential candidate that our candidates defeated last year, Atiku, and some governors. They didn't pay any respect to the Oba of Benin. And this is what Obaseki has shown in the last 7.5 years. Complete disrespect for the Oba of Benin. And we have a candidate who, when he saw that the governors came, took them to the Oba to receive the royal blessings, because he's a young man that appreciates the importance of our traditional institution. He is 53, going to 54. I think he's 54. And his running mate, I'm older than his running mate. His running mate just clocked 44. So we want new blood. That is why, because Akpata commands the control of youths in Benin City, we see him as a threat, not Aswe Budalo, who has retired from the companies he has occupied. You know, look at what he did to Nigerian breweries. Because of old age, he ran that place at Grand. Look, what's the current cost of a bottle of beer? So we know what these people are capable of. The only thing they are capable of are to operate as consultants. They don't need to be in government as governor and deputy governor to consult.
Let me get you one.
Age, they can still consult.
Let me get you one final question
now, and that is why in Benin City, the greatest threat we will have is Labour Party, and we are equal to the task.
Okay.
And remember that most people in Labour Party have joined us. Just during that last campaign rally we had, Ogbede Iyama, who controls the votes, he was a 2-time member of the House of Reps, joined our party. And that was why PDP lost woefully in the governor's local government. Obaseki did not win any local government.
Let me get you a final question, sir. I have to get you a final question.
I want you to react to the video at your candidate's...
Hello, sir. He's still speaking. Hello. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I want you to react to the video at your candidate's campaign recently where he... can we call it a stutter? Where he was, slightly corrected by your party leader, Oshomole. During the campaign, I think he wanted to mention security and insecurity. People suggested, based on that video, that he's not exactly fit to run for office. I want you to react to it. Not just coherence. It showed we're talking about his health. Can you respond to that video? Address the video.
I think the best response is what a former US president said, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and I quote him. He said, "An error does not become a mistake until we refuse to correct it." I've been on your program in the last 1 week twice, and I think the first time I appeared, I made a mistake. I said, PDP is a party to beat. I was talking about us beating the PDP. It was a slip, and I corrected myself in the course of that program. And if you watch the fuller version of that video, not the one that PDP edited, he started by saying that he wanted to say he will provide security, which is the first plinth of his 5-point agenda. He mentioned insecurity and he corrected himself within that same statement. So there's nobody above mistake. Even God at the time regretted why he created man. Okay. God made a mistake by allowing that first thing to have happened because he was in a position to have corrected it. So there's nobody that is above mistake.
Even God made mistakes.
All right, thank you very much. We have to let you go, but I think we have to wish you the best. I mean, it's exciting time, as I said, in Edo right now. Many Nigerians are looking forward to the numbers because it's quite interesting to see the prominence of all the parties. I know there's a woman candidate also who had reached out to us. Hopefully we can have her soon on the show to also tell us what she plans to do. But we're wishing Edo people the best come 21st of September as they all go to the polls to elect their next governor. Thank you so much, Mr. Emwanta, for joining us this morning. It was a pleasure having you. That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.